right, good morning, guys. We got some pretty exciting stuff planned today for our 240SX S13 Turbo S build. Today we're going to be taking it to the exhaust shop, getting a full exhaust made and some pretty crazy material. Oh, not that the material's crazy, but the actual bend itself is pretty crazy. So stay tuned to see what we get put on. Picked up some of this Vibrant straights. We also got a box full of other Vibrant bits with some 45-degree bends. Just stay tuned till we get to the exhaust shop and I'll show you what we have. Alright, what's going on, guys? Back with another video. Today's a new day. We just got the car back from the exhaust shop. Now we're going to be doing some performance handling mods. Some crazy stuff to me. Usually these chassis are pretty light, so I've been documenting everything that I've been putting into it weight-wise, and just having everything on there for filming purposes. Today we're going to be installing some braces, like I said. We have a Sickie strut tower, or excuse me, we have a D-Sports strut tower brace, a PBM power brace. I'm really excited about this. It looks really, really nice compared to all the other ones color-wise. A Sickie rear bar, a Sickie front bar, and these pretty cool Ultra Racing fender brace. Figured I'd give these a try. They're actually really, really light. They're probably only about a pound a piece going off everything. We also got some GK Tech bits, a diff brace, a master cylinder brace, and some front arms that we're going to be doing to get rid of these Megan Racing tension arms and give us a little bit more wheel clearance for drifting. But go ahead and stay tuned and we'll go ahead and get these parts put on. All right, so now that we got the wheel off, while I'm actually down here, I have a surprise upgrade for y'all. It's a little bit of braking power. GK Tech sells these really, really cool brackets that allow you to use your 300ZX brakes on 350Z Brembo or 350Z Sport rotors. So we're going to be ditching these small twin turbo rotors and upgrading to some 350Z Brembo rotors or 350Z Sport rotors as well. It's also going to help with the overall sizing and these wheels. Them being 18s, it really makes the brake rotor look really, really small in there compared to 17s. So we're going to go ahead and swap that out as well. So it's a little bit of an aesthetic and stopping power mod. But while this is off, I'm going to paint the caliper red and also do all of the other supporting mods that we talked about earlier in the video. Let's go ahead and get them put on. All right, guys, so a little bit of update. Our Park Shop Max power brace, unfortunately, is not going to be able to fit on the car because of the way the CX Racing LS Turbo Kit is designed. The crossover pipe itself, let's set that thing back down. The crossover pipe itself, unfortunately, connects about right there. So in order to run this, which I really want to, the crossover pipe's going to have to be redesigned, cut up into a couple pieces. Fortunately, it's just not far enough, or not far forward enough right there in that position. So alright guys, so slight change of plans. So instead of installing the full Part-Shot Max power brace, I'm actually going to be taking out this center bar and just installing the brackets themselves. Unfortunately, I really wanted to run this. Of course, everybody wants to. You know, it's a good chassis upgrade, but because the crossover pipe can't run that, but I can still run these because the actual brace portion itself just simply unbolts. So we're going to go ahead and throw that on. So got the new rotors installed, looking pretty sweet. Always nice to have brand new parts installed. And got the brand new little control arms put in. These are actually from Amazon, kind of crazy. I noticed that I needed new ball joints in my old ones, so went ahead and swapped those out. GK Tech tension rod, and then the Part-Shot Max power brace, but it's missing the center bar, so we could just call those tension rod brackets, honestly. All right, and now we're on to the other side. You can see I already got most of it already installed. Just kind of doing a little bolt checking, but I'm gonna go ahead and do some YouTube magic since you already saw the other side installed. All right guys, so now that we've kind of finished up underneath the car a little bit, we're still gonna go back to it later on in the video, but for right now, or well, for the rest of the night, we're gonna go ahead and put on this strut tower brace. This is a DC Sports product. Very robust looking. One, but it's gonna add a lot of strength. But I didn't really like the logo that was here, so I went ahead and drilled out the rivets, as you can see, and just removed the logo for a more clean look. But we'll go ahead and get this thing put on. All right, guys, so progress update for the day. Well, I should say the evening and night. We got the strut tower brace put on. That's finished up. Brand new lower control arms with ball joints, front tension rods, power brace or tension rod brackets themselves. Tomorrow we're going to be swapping over to front and rear sway bars. You can see back there. Pretty cool stuff. Both Siki front and rear bars. Those are going to be pretty interesting to install, at least the front is. The rear seemed to be pretty straightforward. It literally just bolts right onto the subframe and there's nothing to go around. The front, on the other hand, I probably will have to take the tension rods off themselves to wiggle the sway bar in and then, you know, bolt everything back up. But that's a tomorrow thing. For now, we'll see you tomorrow. All right, guys, and we're back for day 2 of the chassis bracing install. Excuse my voice and how I sound. I've had some pretty crazy allergies today for some reason. I have no clue why. I just woke up feeling terrible. Right now, we're going to go ahead and throw on this Brake Master cylinder brace. If you know anything about these chassis, like I said earlier in the video, they're pretty flimsy. It's just basic, you know, sheet metal, honestly. So anytime that you press the brake pedal, the actual firewall itself flexes a little bit, and this attaches onto the strut tower brace and will reinforce the firewall, making for a more firm pedal feel on the brake pedal itself. So we'll go ahead and get this thing installed. It looks pretty simple. Just basically going to have to pop off these little rubber boots, these rubber tabs, and then it just bolts right on. Pretty simple stuff. Let's get it done. All right, so that was extremely easy, popping those little rubber grommets off, I guess we can call them. I literally just took a flathead and just pried them off. They bloop, came right out. So go ahead and get that bolted on. I kind of want to paint this, but also it's already painted underneath from the factory bay, so I think I'm just going to leave it. All right, so the master cylinder brace is installed. It was actually fairly simple. You can see it right there. All you need is, for a little bit of tight work, a 14 ratcheting wrench, a 10mm deep wall socket, a number 6 Allen, and a 14 metric socket. And just bolts together, bolts onto the firewall, or not the firewall, the strut tower, and then braces the master cylinder. Pretty simple install. Honestly, could have probably taken about 15 minutes if I wasn't messing around in here, but gotta put it on. Looks pretty sweet. All right, so we're gonna be going and moving on to the rear sway bars. I went ahead and got everything. We're gonna be moving on to the rear sway bars now. Went ahead and got everything put down there and kind of positioned where it needs to go. As you can see, got our end links, the bar itself on the creeper, got the bushings, the bolts, and yep. And stay tuned to see how the install goes. All right, and we are back. So we're underneath the car, obviously. Diff bolts are out in order to get the diff brace installed. What I did not know before is that if you have the GK Tech Weldon Gusset kit as well, that adds more structural support to the actual subframe itself. It's Weldon kit, as you can see. So you can't just take it off. But if you have that, it does not work. It needs the flat surface, and you can see it's kind of angled a little bit. It's supposed to bolt on right there. You just simply drill on, but because I have that kit on the subframe, I am not able to use that diff brace. Nice. All right, now that we are forced to wait on the rear sway bar for Sicky's call on what to do with it. The GK Tech diff brace does not fit because of the gusset kit that I have on there. Unfortunately, I was really excited about that, getting a extra strength into the diff and diff cover itself. We're going to go ahead and move on to the front sway bar. Because I was a little impatient and went ahead and assembled mostly everything in the front end, I do have to take the tension rods back off in order to get the subframe or the front sway bar into it, and then I'll have to bolt it back together. So we're just gonna unbolt that, and yep. All right, guys, so we're doing a lot of bouncing around today. Unfortunately, the front sway bar is not gonna work with my CX Racing kit. Kind of see it right there. It connects on the front right there. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to run that. Really sucks. all the more reason to go ahead and get that kit modified and redesigned so I can actually run like my power brace and my front sway bar and whatnot. But off camera, I did a little bit of work on the rear sway bar bushing brackets themselves. I emailed Sicky and they said that these are an energy bushing product, that they actually don't have a hand in making these. So I figured I would just go ahead and cut out the middleman and use a burring tool and just burr or get rid of the burrs on the inside of these. So now the bolts slide in pretty easily. So we're going to go ahead and get that rear sway bar put on.